Welcome, and thank you for joining me on Jamaicans.com for another episode of Shelf Life. This is the new year, new season, everything new. As always, I'm asking you to like the page and share this episode with your friends. Dr. Sue, so good to see you, man. Your color's pretty.
Good morning, Judith. Yes, I got up this morning as cold as it is here. I'm like, you know what? I am Dr. Sue. I am Susan. I need to bring my energy out. And these are the colors that brings my energy out.
They are beautiful colors. Beautiful, beautiful colors.
Thank you. Thank
you.
you.
Lovely. You said cold up here. Where are you?
I am in Central Florida. I'm in Orlando. And girl, it feel like New York.
Did you live in New York at some point?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Okay. I finished high school in New York.
Oh, okay. So we'll definitely hear about that then. You know, there's so much people know Dr. Sue, and you are on a lot of things and we've seen your face. But I know a lot of times that we talk to you, we only hear about your books and we only hear about where you are today. I want to go back a little bit. Take our listeners and our audience back a little bit to your beginnings. So I know you were born in Jamaica. Where you come from?
You see, Judith, it starts with you. You don't know me. All you know is my books. I wasn't born in Jamaica.
Okay, there you go. See, so that's something, folks, that we're learning today, because it's like how people think I was born in Montego Bay. All my life, I thought she was born in Jamaica. So where you come from?
I was born in London, England.
You know, I'm sure you told me that before.
Yeah, you probably heard it. I have this mantra that used to say, I haven't used it lately, British by birth, Jamaican by choice, and American by naturalization.
Okay, yes, I have heard it before. Is it the little age thing? Is it the little grays? Them gone inside.
Not to worry, darling. Not to worry. But you see, because I'm Jamaican by choice, everything about me is Jamaica. So that's what I exude, and that's what people would see, and that's what they would know. So nothing wrong with that.
How old were you when you left England and went to Jamaica?
I left England as a baby, a child, primary school, and have 3 siblings. So 3 of us were born in England, and my last one, my sister, my mommy, she was born in Jamaica.
Okay. And
so we grew up there. We lived in Manchester.
Where in Manchester?
The Christiana area.
Really?
Yes.
I have family in Christiana.
You have family in Christiana?
I used to spend a lot of time in Christiana.
All right, girl, who needs to talk? So I was just down from below, you know where Homewood is, Homewood Technical High School. Yes, that's the area I was in. Okay. Sedberg, to be exact, Sedberg, Christiana. So that's where we grew up. That's where home would have been. And so I went to Knox College. So after primary school, to Knox College. You want to hear how much school me go? Then after Knox College, mommy had transferred to the other side of the island, to St. Thomas over in the east. So I went to Morant Bay High School as well.
Wow.
Morant Bay High School for about a year. And then I migrated to the USA and I finished high school in New York. So I lived in Austin, New York, upstate New York, and that's where I finished high school.
Okay, so yes, you are definitely a universal person. Yes, you
diversity at its best.
You have to claim all of them. Diversity at its best. You are so right. You are so right. So South Florida, because I know you from South Florida, and a lot of my viewers would have known you from South Florida. When did you come to South Florida then, since you came by way of New York?
All right, so there is another element that can't be left out. I didn't come to South Florida via New York. I left New York in the early 80s and I returned to London. So that was where I spent my formidable young adult years. I grew up in London, did my university there, started my career there, did all my theatrics there. So I was a professional actress in London. So people there would know me.
See, this is why on Shelf Life, I not just talk about the books, because the books you can find on Amazon or in the store or wherever, but we rarely get to hear about the people who actually write the books. So that is interesting information that so many of us did not have. So, so where the British accent, my love, where the British accent, where it gone?
I left it.
You left it?
I left it because I didn't like it much.
That's interesting, because most people who especially born or grew up in England, them just cannot seem to leave the accent behind.
Yeah, they hold on to it, but it wasn't me. It really
Yeah,
wasn't. It really was.
I really
So
can't imagine it.
yeah, I kind of left it. But yeah, that's me. I've been all over. And so Jamaica well, two places in Jamaica, Manchester, which is the central part of Jamaica, and then over on the east, St. Thomas.
Then to New York.
New York.
Then to London.
Then to London.
And
then I left London to here.
Okay, you came to South Florida. All right, so we reached South Florida now, which is where
South Florida.
Most of us know you from South Florida. Just like most of the people who know me from Montego Bay and think I come from Montego Bay, but I don't come from Montego Bay. But that's a whole nother story like your own. Yes. But so you're now in South Florida, and you just made yourself such an integral part of the community in South Florida. When and how did you pick up back and become involved in writing and becoming Dr. Sue, the Dr. Sue we know? So before you even answer that, make me backtrack a little bit, because Dr. Sue is like synonymous with Miss Lou. We know we have this absolute love for Miss Lou. How did that come about? Because it has influenced all your writing and your performances. Tell me about your connection with Miss Lou, because that is what we know in South Florida, is that connection. And then we talk about how that worked into South Florida.
Okay. And to get to there, I have to go back a bit. You talk about me growing up in Jamaica and all that, right? I was that student that was never expected to excel.
Really?
Yeah, oh yes. As accomplished as I may seem today, believe me, based on some of the especially teachers that I had and stuff, I was a student that was never expected. Barefoot, and I said barefoot and pick me how much baby father, whatever.
That's what they expected.
That's what they expected. Some of them even aired it. So I grew up with a lot of insecurities, and I grew up with some self-esteem problems. Thank God for the parents I had, because had it not been for them, I don't know where I'd be. And my siblings, but because of that, I got into writing.
Okay.
Because I never seemed to fit in, especially on the playground, there. And I wasn't that academic. And when I say I wasn't that academic, to this day,
really?
Me not the brightest at the maths and the sciences, but give me the arts. And growing up in Jamaica, it's all about the sciences.
Doctor, lawyer, teacher,
yeah.
That end with "er."
And I used to think I wasn't heard. And when I say to people that, that my brain isn't wired for that. And then make it worse, I passed the common entrance, and I went to a school that was very steeped in the sciences. And again, I never really fit in. So I found that when I was in Jamaica, I was one of those students who tended to have been part of all the extracurricular activities, because that's where I found a sense of purpose. So if a choir, me a sing. If a drama, me a drum.
It explains why we get along so much, because I was good at the sciences as well. I could have become a doctor, lawyer, teacher, whatever, but the arts is where my heart was. And like you, if there was a bus leaving that school to go to any festival event, I was on that bus.
Me send me in the dance. Me I represent the school in a dance for festival, for recital and speech and all that kind of thing. So that was me, and that's where I found my sense of purpose. And again, because I speak of the insecurities I had and stuff, I used to end up writing a lot. But I never wrote. My life, as you will hear, has been very providential. I can't say to you at any stage I said, I want to be a X or I want to be a Y. My life just evolved.
Yes.
And
I know that feeling. I know that feeling too well.
Please. And I think somebody who has an interest in the arts and like a creative part will understand that. So I never set out to be the next doctor, nurse. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just allowed the things that I liked and loved to become an integral part of me. So yes, the writing. I used to write, not thinking that I never ever imagined that I would aspire to have a book.
Let alone 3.
Let alone 3. Started to write. When I moved to, when I was in Morant Bay, oh gosh, that was a period I never spoke about either. I had gone to Morant Bay and was at Morant Bay all age for a term. And they had an island-wide essay competition. And I entered and I won for that region. So of course, the prize was I had to go to King's House to have luncheon and get what it was a big to do. But that's when I really started to find that, you know, again, it was my passion. Me just write. And I just started writing. Fast forward, left and went to the States. I didn't get much into any of my creative side when I was in the States, actually. But then when I left in the early 80s and went back to London, I got steeped into the Jamaican community. Of course, I had tons of cousins there. And one of the things too, Judith, that was so funny, coming from Jamaica and the way we grew up, you know, again, you'll talk patois when you're out on the playground or whatever, but don't take it into the home and don't take it into the schools. That's so patois is not something that I had really embraced. And the only time I probably ended up talking the broken English as such was when I had the opportunity to do like the recitals, like a Miss Lou poem, something like that.
So that's how you got into Miss Lou, because she gave you the permission to do it.
She gave me the permission to do it. But I didn't do it much again in Jamaica, except for like when I did a festival presentation or something. When I went to London, I had all these cousins there, Judith. Never been to Jamaica in them life. And them talk more patois than me.
Than you.
And I'm like, no, sir, something wrong. And I'm there and I'm around them and everywhere I go, it's just patois. And again, there too, I found that the Jamaicans embraced it so much because they had to identify themselves from the other Black communities there, the Africans and the other Caribbean islands. So they just went to it. So girl, I was in heaven. And now my patois sound more authentic than theirs because it is a real thing. I was always asked to speak, and if they're having any event or so, they would invite me to come. And I, of course, then the only thing I had to fall into was to do a Miss Lou.
Miss Lou.
So I was always going to events and doing a Miss Lou, be it a private event or a community event, and doing Miss Lou and Miss Lou.
And you do a very, very, very good Miss Lou. Excellent, Miss Lou. She would be so proud of the job that you have done, because we really know you. In addition to your regular writing, doing Miss Lou and doing tributes to Miss Lou. Make we fast forward a little bit to your books before we don't even get to talk about the books. So your first book was influenced by Miss Lou. I Am Jamaica.
Ode to Miss Lou.
Oh, Ode to Miss Lou is the first one. Right, Ode to Miss Lou.
Ode to Miss Lou is the first one. This book, no, I got to my 50th birthday, and I'm one of those persons, so I'm big on my birthday. And if you're a real good friend of mine, you will know that. Don't get my birthday part. Yes, okay. So, and I usually try to do something meaningful for my birthday, meaningful for friends, family, party, or whatever. Got to 50, and it was such a milestone, and I'm like, what can I do for my 50th? And I had like 4 months to decide. And I said, you know what? I need to have a legacy piece. And it so happened that it was in Jamaica's 50th, when Jamaica was celebrating their 50th year.
We're both independence babies.
But I'm celebrating my 50. And so, and I think it was my friend David in talking to him, like, we don't publish some of your poem there. But I'm like, oh my God, they're not fit for publishing. And, we talked it through and everything. And then I had so much work. So I decided, okay, let me do 50 pieces. So you'll find in the book, there are 50 pieces for my 50th, celebrating Jamaica's 50th.
Nice.
And these pieces went way back to some of them were writings from Jamaica days.
Good.
New York,
Nice.
all
It's a
through the
great
years.
book. It's a great book, by the way, people. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't read it, if you haven't gotten it, you need to get it. It's a really, really good book.
Thank you. And they're all dated, so you'll see that.
So we'll know exactly when they were written and all of that. And you can see the evolution in your writing. As you read through the book, you can see the evolution in your writing. And then the second one.
The second book, which is I Am Jamaica.
Yes.
Now, this one again, talk about providence. Not planned. I used to do a radio slot on Saturdays called Culture Corner with Dr. Sue. And what I used to do then was read from my books. Well, from my book, because at the time I only had this one. So I used to read from my book. And then viewers would sometime, or the listeners would call in and ask for something else, and I don't have anything. But I've come to realize how gifted I am. I can just write on the spot, like, okay, it's my sister's birthday, I'm name Jean. So I'll write a quick poem for Jean. And every time we had a Jamaica occasion, like be it independence or something, I would on the spot write something for that occasion. And then when the radio slot finished, I realized I had all these pieces of paper with all these writings that I did, on Saturdays. And again, I thought, okay, why just throw them out? And since they're all related to Jamaica, I thought put it together. So I put together the book, I Am Jamaica. So most of the poems in here are from that, and they speak to Jamaica.
Stick a pin right there, because I'm going to ask you to do a piece. I don't know which piece you prepared, but I Am Jamaica is a beautiful piece. So would you mind just dropping that for us?
Want me to drop that right now?
Drop it, man.
All right. The title piece, which is called I Am Jamaica. It's like, I am Jamaica. I am Jamaica, my team for the clear. I am Jamaica, shout it out in the ear. I am Jamaica, whether I'm there yard or abroad. I am Jamaica, and they have my umbilical cord. I am Jamaica because I choose to be. I am Jamaica, naturalized and free. I am Jamaica, see me standing tall. I am Jamaica, it take no to make me fall. I am Jamaica, wait. You know, hear about me. I am Jamaica. I defy all possibility. I am Jamaica. When me good bad. I am Jamaica. When me bad good. I am Jamaica. Me are the black, green, and gold. I am Jamaica in body, spirit, and soul. Aye, aye, aye.
Of course, and I feel it. I feel it because like you, I feel like I am Jamaica. Like everything about me says Jamaica. Everything I say, everything. When you see me, you're not supposed to have any doubt at all. When you meet me, who me be,
who me represent.
Be. And if me have to look on you and go, you know me, But I love that. I love that poem because it is everything that we are, and it says so much about us. And I feel it because that's how I feel. Like you, I would say most of what I do relates to Jamaica. Whenever I launch a new book, I have to go to Jamaica. Whenever I do anything, Jamaica is on my mind. I work with the kids there. It's always about Jamaica. So I totally get that love that you have for our culture and for who we are as Jamaicans. So you recently launched a new book, which is a little different from the others.
Oh, yes.
Completely different from the others. Living the hip life. And hip is such an interesting word because hip was one of those words that we used to use back in the day. When we say we hip. So it kind of tell our age that we understand what it means to be hip. So this particular book is different in what way?
Well, the first two books are books of poetry. This is actually a story. And it's a story of a mother as told by me, her daughter. My mom passed away sadly 2.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And over that period, just hearing the feedback from people and about who she was and what she was, not that I didn't know, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just think it's just here, it's just with you and the siblings.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't extend out. I just realized, and the words that kept coming up every time people spoke of her and what she did was either humble,
Mm-hmm.
intentional,
Mm-hmm.
or prepared. That's the hip.
Hip. Okay. Humble, intentional, prepared.
Humble,
Gotcha.
intentional, or prepared.
Okay. Gotcha.
So living a hip life. So the book now, I put together the story of mom, but what I want for readers to take away is not this story. It's not about, it's a story that is telling a concept through her life.
Right.
Hip is something that can be applied to any of us, to any situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I would love readers to take away from it. Yes, it's telling mommy's story, but saying, okay, this is what she did. This is why they thought she
But
was
there's
humble. This is
purpose
why
to
they
it.
thought. But there's lots of purpose to it.
Yes. All right. I'm going to ask you to read a short little piece. Give them a little taste because they need to get the book. Give them a taste.
Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna give them a taste because it's gonna be so out of context. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the intro, part of the
Okay.
intro to them. So
That
this
works.
will give them an understanding. It says, why read this book? Heck, why read any book? Because this book you see is not just a book. This is a compelling narrative of an extraordinary life, a valuable resource, a personal directory, and an important legacy piece. This book, it captures wisdom and tenacity of a human who carved out a pathway that provided inspiration, guidance, and a legacy for your loved one immeasurably. This book will show you how one woman lived and loved and challenged you to emulate her life. There will be the opportunity for you to reflect on your own life. This book will get you to understand that not only is it okay to live a purposeful life, but that we should. In fact, we should aspire to live humbly, intentionally, and preparedly. Live a hip life. Again, this book explores the pragmatic balance of living a wholesome, faith-filled life while preparing for life's changes and legacy preservation. Life changes, be it as planned as a professional or residential move, be it unplanned as an accident or this COVID pandemic, or a final death. This book is about helping us and our loved ones to celebrate and appreciate the newness that can be brought about physically, spiritually, and relationally when we strive to be hip. Live a hip life. Humble, intentional, and prepared.
Wow, that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. And it's, I read a lot like you and most writers. We read a lot. To be able to write well, you really have to be a reader. And I like books that tell a story, but have more purpose and more meaning to it than just the story. There's so much more to learn from it. And I think it's wonderful that I just so you know, I've actually also started writing a book about my mother's life. And it's I think I got the first few words down because there's so much to it.
There's so much.
So much. I get the passion. And I think it's wonderful when we can document the lives of our forerunners, our foreparents, our parents, grandparents, whoever, because we've gotten to the place where we understand what they were doing.
Yes.
We understand who they really are. Because that is something that when you're growing up, you think them just miserable, or you think them just, tell you not to do something because them not want you to do it or whatever. But when you get to that place where you can honestly appreciate what it is that your parents were doing, who they were, and how hard they must have worked to give you the life you had with very little.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing. So one last thing I want to touch on is the Jamaican Poets Tour. So you have been with us on that tour at least one time. You're there in spirit every time. We're looking forward to doing that again. What are your plans in terms of the future and things that you want to be involved with? Because I'm sure the poet store is something that I know you want to be involved with, and I know you're going to put it on your calendar. And I
Yes,
brought
ma'am.
it up because I want people to understand that you are very active outside of what you do for you, that
Yes.
people understand that you are giving back. What are some of the plans you have for the future?
It's so wide open. Well, for one, I have a foundation, the Dr. Sue Charitable Foundation,
Let's talk
which
about that.
gives back to the community in a sense, so in its own little way,
Mhm,
because Dr. Sue believes in the ripple effect. I
mhm.
believe in, affecting one person. I can't save the world, but if I can save one person or one thing. So it's about the incremental. So I try to reach out. So a lot of what I do feeds back into that, but I'm open, especially with this book now, Living a Hip Life. Once
Right.
people have read it, inviting me out to speak to the
Nice.
concept of being hip and how
Nice.
it can apply to them. So that is something I'd really love an opportunity to do as a product, is to build, discussion pieces
Right.
and organizations around this concept. Continue to do my poetry, continue to write, continue. My passion is young people, children.
Yes. Yes.
So to feed into them
Mhm.
and reach out to them as best as I can. So whatever opportunity I have to work with young people, be
Okay.
it mentoring, be it helping them with their writing, in whatever capacity. I'm always Auntie Sue. I'm Dr. Sue to some, but I'm Auntie Sue to
Auntie
more.
Sue. Well, Auntie Sue, I have some work for you coming up soon with some young people. So you
Okay?
can keep your ears open. I will be calling on you. Boy, it
No
has been
problem.
wonderful, wonderful talking to you. I'm telling you, folks, you have got to check her out. If you don't already know her, and I'm sure most of the people I'm talking to know her, check her out. Dr. Sue Shinim, Google her. Google is the great finder of all things. And just
My
check her out.
name is
Check out the book.
Suzanne Lycett-Davis. Thank you.
Yes, Dr.
AKA.
Suzanne Lycett-Davis. You got to check her out. Dr. Sue, thank you so much for being on Shelf Life. And I look forward to working with you closely again on things like the Poet's Tour and just when COVID
Sure.
don't keep.
Yes, when COVID don't keep. And all while it keep me there, because I'm doing everything virtual. Just reach out.
Yes, it's all
And I'm
virtual now.
here and whatever I can do.
Thank you so much. Much blessings.
Thank
Stay safe
you.
and catch you
Yes.
next time.
Walk good. And may a good dopey walk with you.
Walk with you. Blessings, my friend.
All righty.
Well, we've come to the end of another Shelf Life, and what a wonderful woman. What a wonderful chat I had with Dr. Sue. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Join me again next week, same place, same time, for some more Shelf Life. As always, remember to like, share right here on Jamaicans.com. This is Shelf Life. I'm Judith Falloon-Reid, your host. Check me out on my website, jfalloonreid.com, and on my YouTube channel for more of Shelf Life. Walk good.